And welcome for the Zoom meeting by Bharatiya School of Management and Entrepreneurial Development from Bharatiya University. And it's a pleasure to welcome you all. And today is our 30th day of this meeting. And I take this opportunity to wish everyone for the successful journey for the last 30 days. And we have seen topics from different areas of life in the last 30 days. It's been a wonderful opportunity. And thank you, Shankar, for initiating this and all the members who have been taking it forward. And we have Mr. Narayana Babu, who is with us to give a brief talk about his own favorite topic, which is perception. And it's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Narayana Babu. And to give a brief introduction, he started his career with Johnson & Johnson in 1978 as a sales rep. And he grew to become the director of professional education for J&J India. And he's a very passionate teacher, and he is known for his surgical knowledge. And in fact, I know that many doctors with whom we speak, if they have any doubt, they will call him. Even though he's not a qualified doctor, he is well versed with all the surgical terminologies and anatomy and physiology. And he also has, he was sent to US for training the sales and marketing team from across Johnson & Johnson in US with the US team, and also for the entire global team on many occasions. He was a global trainer for the sales team. And he was also trained in US for a certificate program, which is called Integrative Selling Program, which is actually a branded program, which is a very reputed training program given to the leaders on how to manage the sales team. And one incident that he shared today, which was very interesting, he attended an interview for the position in J&J in a hotel in Chennai, which is Hotel Chola, in 1978. And also after his retirement function also was held in the same hotel. So it's very coincident, and he was very happy to share that. So currently he's very happy as a retired successful person, and he has been mentoring many of his students and executives who are working under him. Most of the executives who are working under him, they are in good position across the world, and some of them are angel investors in healthcare industry and working at a senior management level in different industries. So it's my pleasure to have you here, sir. And we thank you for taking your time to speak about your favorite topic. Over to you.
Thank you, Muthukumar, for your kind words. Namaste. I welcome all. I'm very much called as Johnson Babu because that's how my whole career started. So why I took the topic perception, because that's a live word for every individual, either for his performance or his livelihood. So that's why I took this subject as perception, because it talks about inner feeling of an individual. So I don't want to be a blah blah talking type. I just want to be an interactive session. I like someone of you to participate with me. Can someone tell me what is the dangerous weapon in the world?
I think all are muted by the host. So
negative thoughts.
Yeah, I think now unmuted.
Yeah. Can somebody tell me what the dangerous weapon in the world?
The human tongue.
Beg your pardon?
The tongue.
Yeah, you're very close to it.
Mind.
It's a human mind. The most dangerous weapon in the world is the human mind, because that can conquest and conquer others' feelings and emotions. That's why I took subject perception. Perception is all about understanding the scenario and put your experience behind the knowledge and try to help others. So how we can go about moving forward in creating new goals, at the same time achieving your personal and organizational goals. So before I start, I request Mani to kindly play that PowerPoint for me. Mani?
கனகராஜ் சார் நீங்க ஷேர் பண்ணிடுறீங்களா?
Can you?
சார் ஷேர் பண்ணிடுறேன். ஹோஸ்டஸஸ் இருக்காது. ஜஸ்ட் a minute. I will make hostesses. நான் பண்றதால பண்ணிடுறேன். ஒரே நிமிஷம்.
Just go through it. Maybe we'll talk about it later. A small fun learning. Everybody's seeing, or do you want me to read it out?
So this page or?
Just one minute, I can read it out for you.
Oh, okay, that'll be good, sir. Yeah.
Okay, fine. One day, a little mouse living in a farm spied the farmer and his wife opening a package. He was aghast to discover the package contained not food but a mouse trap. The mouse ran to the farmyard, warning everyone, "There's a mouse trap in the house. There's a mouse trap in the house." The chicken raised his head and exclaimed, "My mouse, I can tell you this trap is a grave concern to you, but has no consequence to me, and I cannot be bothered with this." The mouse turned on the way to the pig. "I am so sorry, Mr. Mouse, but the trap is no concern of mine either." The mouse then turned to the bull. "Sounds like you have a problem, Mr. Mouse, but not one that concerns me." The mouse returned to the house, dejected that no one would help him or was concerned about his dilemma. He knew he has to face the trap on his own. That night, the sound of a trap catching its prey was heard throughout the house. The farmer's wife rushed to see what was caught. In the darkness, she could not see that it was a venomous snake whose tail the trap had caught. The snake bit the farmer's wife. Next, please. The wife got bad fever, and the farmer knew the best way to treat the fever was with the chicken soup. He took his hatchet to the farmyard to get the soup main ingredient. Next, please. The wife got sicker, and the friends visited round the clock. Farmer had to feed them, so he butchered the pig. The farmer wife got worse and died, so many friends and family came to the funeral. The farmer had slaughtered the bull and feed them all. Next, please. So the next time hear that one of your teammates is facing a problem and think it does not affect me, let us remember this. Thank you. That's it. Let us go for discussion. Thank you, Muthu.
Okay, yeah.
So it's very clear. Now everything is not of others. Everything is concerned. So it's all is your perception in mind. Anything which happens in our own organization, it's all how you build up your team. So how you build up your team with your vision and your perception should match their perception, which happens only when you have a common thinking goal. That's the very reason why we have to spend more time in getting into details and understanding the variance and the individual personal skills and ability, so that everyone are in the same linear length, so that you perform and achieve what is the desired goal of personal organizational goal. This first one is the belief, second is faith, third is understanding, fourth is experience. What is belief? Belief is all about internal assessment, how you make with your experience and knowledge and your relationship with your individuals. And subconscious notation. Sometimes you keep perceiving somebody that this all one can do. It's not like that. It's all about how you change. That's why perception is a relative term. It's not a fixed term. It changes from time to time. Perception today may not be the same tomorrow, because as the scene changes, the perception also changes, because the variance changes. And appearance. Sometimes you look good, you feel that this can happen, that can happen. It's all about perception. So faith. So all this lead to faith. Faith leads to a past transaction or the result the person has given to you during his performance or during his tenure, and also his personal assessment of his interaction with his colleagues, and at the same time, his deliverables. That's the very reason when I was working, I like to share my experience as a selling equipment person. I had a team of 4 people. We were selling an equipment called harmonic scalpel. It's an equipment used for a bloodless surgery, where what is the competitive edge of the product is that here you live with the surgeon during surgery and then you sell the product. We just don't trust the product to the customer. Here you see, that's the very reason the entire team members are equally talented or gifted or knowledgeable like every other individual as a team. The perception remains the same as a team leader, as the team members. That is how in 1 year we could sell about 100 units in India. It's all about believing in perception. So let's get back to some sort of interaction before I go to the other subject of today's burning subject of VUCA. Anybody has some notation, some belief or some sort of an indifference of thinking or interpretation of perception, please, you can share with me. This is the right time that I can also learn.
Wants to speak can unmute. Rest, please mute.
Anybody wants to contribute or add something to perception?
I would agree with you to a great extent, sir. while we are in the primary school, our perceptions have been different. And sitting in front of the laptop today, having gone through about 22 years of working, things have dramatically changed. Me and my friends, sometimes, we think that we probably have not been very close to a war situation, but we are more or less in the same situation today. Sitting at home, it's difficult to keep us tied back, but our perception on every aspect has changed dramatically. I don't think we can agree to, we can anyway try and disagree with you or try and argue on this at all.
That's why I always say perception can be a catalyst, at the same time can be a parasite also. The person, because he refuses to accept the reality, doesn't believe your perception, even though it matches the goals, but still his perception does not match your goal, then he becomes a parasite to the organization.
Mm.
That's what I say. That's what I learned in an organization.
Karthik Kumar speaking.
Anything else? Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, perception depends upon the different levels of the organization, right, sir? Actually, because
Yes, yes.
executive, so a rat perception is different, and as you take every living being and has a different perception.
Sure.
And if you take if you parallel to the organization, see, executive perception will not be like a executive president perception, right? So then the communication to the people has to be changed. So when information is passed, that has to be modified. For example, when rat says that there's a mouse trap, it has to say something in different notation or in tone so that everybody will understand.
Exactly.
So that's my view, sir.
I'm very happy because I was about to open the topic to you today.
Yes, sir.
Because exactly why I purposely put this presentation, because it relates to VUCA in one, Corona in one. If Corona in one, if the rat is a Corona, if it has been identified as being controlled at the one level and wouldn't have allowed the people out of one or sent to the nearest city to an isolation, we would have saved this calamity today.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's a simple thing, because you feel it's not my problem. Today, it's become everybody's problem. If at all, if China would have controlled one and sent to Beijing, the nearest city, to some people, whole world would have put all the money to China to help China. And another thing, because that is why I remember very well, when I was in 1992, when I went to US, I saw only belt and shoes made by China. Only belt and shoes. In 2002, when I went, I saw everything made by China. Because their strategical approach is very simple. They said, you give me your mud, I'll make the part and give you. And they create a sort of psychosynesis in the people's mind of a developed country that production is not your fruit. Production is meant for countries like us. That is why they focus only on production. They know pretty well market is waiting outside for them because raw material is given by somebody. Another sector where they focus is on education, where India is also, but would have made education cheaper. But he made a medical education for 2 lakhs and 3 lakhs. Well, here it costs 5 lakhs per year. So all the students, they go to China to do the medicine. So all the people who went there, they were all the people who came back and gave us the gift of Corona. That's why I always say, in the case of VUCA, so volatility is here when things are volatile, should have vision. When there's uncertainty, you understand better. Complexity is you require clarity. In ambiguous situation, you need adaptability, agility. I remember Mani was telling me that he is working more than what he was working before. And today, every one of us is doing it because, as very rightly you sometime back you said, as hierarchical level, the perception changes and behavior changes, notation changes. But see, it happens. What happened? See, today we are slowly moving from man to machine. You all agree with me? Are you all with me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes, sir. We are with you.
yes, sir. We are with you.
But I'm not able to see you all. I don't know whether people are there.
So normally we keep our videos and microphones mute.
No problem.
The bandwidth is very comfortable for all.
No, is it going okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Making some sense?
Yes, sir.
I just want to, I can always correct myself because I love learning. That's how I've been growing up all these years. Because every time, people were wondering why Babu spent 32 years in Johnson & Johnson. Because I never stayed in one place. I keep moving from one franchise to other franchise. Because wherever I saw I'm static, and my knowledge was craving for something else, I moved to other franchise. I learned something there. That is the one which kept me moving. At the same time, you also have your own interest level to get into that level of approach. So thank you, sir. This is what I talk about perception, and especially regarding VUCA also, I was just telling you how we have this, the only way we can change today's world, because we have to have a vision, we have to have proper understanding, we have to have a real clarity of how we are going to move further tomorrow, and adaptability. That is one thing which is definitely going to happen. That's the very reason today the artificial intelligence is going to take over tremendously. Because it's all about collecting data. That's very reason the data is given by you. You and me are given the data. So that's very reason today how this whole concept of digitalization, because since other day I was seeing one program, they're telling about work from anywhere. That is true. It is going to happen. It's not only in America, it's happening today in India also. So this is where it's going to be, today with the present scenario, no one can travel out of anywhere because any international travel you cannot have. You cannot move out to other states, other places. So how to make it? So other way is we do the water cooling among our own colleagues, so that you have some catch up. Am I right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Any questions I like to take?
I
think my time of 30 minutes over.
Right, sir. Who likes to take up the question? You can unmute yourself. And after the question, you can mute yourself. Abdul sir, do you have any question?
Hi. My name is Abdul. I'm living in Singapore. So my friend Shankara gave me this, Zoom call. So I just wanted to touch upon this perception and, ideally where we are limiting our exposure. I think, people are looking at miracles, and few things is that, perception is based on sight, smell, hearing, probably taste, whatever it is. And also there is a cultural angle, every country behaves differently in a situation like a pandemic situation, right? So the preparedness is not being taught from education perspective, from what we are actually going in for the future. So the perception is always how much knowledge you have, and the knowledge is not transferable in any means like education or further studies or anywhere in India. And I feel that there is a problem because it's a tightly perception and faith is always considered very closer, and it always moves towards influencing paths. But it's not true. But it's a matter of education and awareness, And we are a very close country in terms of adopting many things, and we follow some of these countries, right? So I feel that it is all about because our majority of the population is very uneducated, and it's a battle always that from a corporate culture we feel that also that we are amongst the main of the population. So I think it's a time for education and time for people to understand more knowledge. I felt that from the whole conversation that we are an up struggle in terms of a battle perspective, how to do it, but it takes a long time from us. But it is the time to capture right now. So in terms of the gaps what we have in Indian, from a overall skilled team perspective, skilled IT personnel, skilled people around this whole area. I think everybody needs a lot of education, and everybody has to unlearn. That is my point here. So it's a great concept here what you are bringing up, but there is a lot of areas where we need to shut down things and unlearn and learn. That is what I feel.
You're right. If your hard disk is full, nothing can be stored. You have to empty your hard disk.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, sir.
Nice here. Thank you very much. Asim, let me tell you, today, imagine today children in India also, we ever thought that children going to sit at home and learn schooling in India? I never dreamt about it. It's happening today. Today, kindergarten child, in fact, my grandchildren, they are sitting at home and they're doing schooling from their laptop and an iPad.
So the funny thing is, what happened
Today,
is,
I tell you, in spite of all that, I never knew how to even open a Zoom in my laptop. So I'm using an iPad.
The funniest part of it is that my kids, like in Singapore, they used to see teachers in the school, right? And they are seeing in a video Zoom call with a home kind of dressing, and my son is commenting like she looks like my mom, and they've not seen it. Like, you have to see it in completely different perspective.
Disguise. It's a blessing in disguise. A child learns from the mother faster than from the teacher.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
It's amazing. I also have my brother in Singapore. He's also he's working for HP. He's a director at HP.
Great, sir.
I'm very happy. That's nice, you guys. I feel that I could learn something from you.
Yeah, one suggestion will be like, when you do a Zoom call, if you can actually try and put some, agenda towards it so that people can actually understand what they're going to learn from this. What I got information, I asked Shankara is also like, it is just, kind of a topic. That's it. But nothing on about like, what topic is being presented. And he gave me information later on, right? So that'll be good. Thank you.
Happy you brought it to next time we'll do it. It's a first time for me, I'm telling you very honestly.
Oh, is it? Thank you so much.
People call me somehow, I never accepted to anybody. Somehow Muthu, I came out.
Thank you, sir.
I think in fact, doing fairly a good job, no?
Yeah, it's actually good because it has to be mass level, in terms of.
I want your feedback on this because so that I get confidence in doing it more in a proper manner as to be taking your inputs.
Yeah, sharing experience is great. There is no way that people can be probably like you probably have to be in the very highest level in the organization to understand what the sharing experiences are people are actually going through in multiple levels, in senior levels. So people who are young enough, they can dream what they can do and what kind of skills they need to develop. This is a great thing, right? Now, the perception is not limited to what you can actually feel and sense. It's all about like, what you want to progress in life, right? So, and what can limit yourself is also important.
Yeah, I remember my company group chairman is Singaporean, who is looking after my company. He used to tell me, this hierarchy is only for my salary, not for performance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, without performance, you will never get into hierarchy anyway.
Very clearly, because if I don't translate my dream to you, what is that I am going to achieve?
Yeah.
No, nowhere.
Yeah. And like, from an education standpoint, when you just out of the college and, when you're doing first 5 years of your, initial career life, nobody knows what it's actually beyond that horizon, right? So people are looking more towards more, you probably need an MBA, you need to start studying. You need to probably doing more on, techno commercial stuff, just not techno. That technical is very limited in the scope right now. See, from a scope perspective, people are looking at advisories. Everything is outsourced, right? So individually you cannot really contribute. Individually contribute, you will be able to go into an organization, be part of masses, like thousands of hundreds of thousands of people. But if you want to stand alone, you have to develop the skills, right? So that is where importance come in.
You have to muscle up. Without muscling up, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, in fact, when I shared the invite, this is Shankar Narayanan. I work with Sun Direct, and Abdul Nasser is my classmate during school. So, in fact, when I shared this invite of this particular Zoom meeting with your name and the topic, Nasser had a perception that somebody who is retired from Johnson & Johnson is going to talk only about COVID. As such, we are all bogged down. Why you want to have one more? I told him, log in and see. That maybe your perception will change. So the topic itself got into it, and he logged in, and probably he had his share of his views as well.
Yeah. The first thing is what we communicate right now. So I agree with you, Shankar. So the problem is that people think that we have got enough time for everything. But if it is very important, people will join, and we need to make an education in that. When you ask for time from somebody, you have to make sure that there is an agenda in place, and somebody wants to learn about this. It's a very key topic. We practice it almost, right. So that's what I was just trying to give a small.
Thank you.
That's it's all about life and livelihood. That's why I say it's all about life and livelihood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody likes to listen because so many singers are there. Why do you listen only to Lata Mangeshkar and Asha Bhosle? Simple. Because it suits you. It touches you.
Yeah. It touches some senses, different senses on different singers.
It has to touch you.
Yeah.
Even in organization, I tell people, how long you work is immaterial. When you leave your footprint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next, we have a question. Shankar Narayanan sir, can you read the question? Or can I?
Jayalakshmi ma'am wants to ask, we can ask her to ask us. We have Jayalakshmi ma'am having question. We ask her to.
Yeah. So you were saying every jobs are going to move to the machine. So what are the people going to do?
No, I think who has handled the machine? See, even though artificial intelligence, we are making conceptualizing ideas, the data is by the men. Who has to collect the data? It's about you and me. No. That's why we have to learn the skill of to a basic like writing, reading, getting into digital learning system. Got my point? Digital learning system is the one thing tomorrow it will take you far and far away because we have to keep the social distancing. That is the rule of the land, and it's going to be there at least for about 1.5 years, 18 months. 18 months we all have to survive. How? It's very simple. Have clarity and adaptability, understanding, and agility.
Well, I was thinking more in terms of people make comments that there's going to be a post-COVID world where a lot of the whole system is going to be geared towards differently towards people keeping distance from each other and all that. So I'm just I'm an educator, by the way. I did study BSc.
I heard a lot about you, madam. Already
Sorry?
but you are his favorite teacher, he told me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
To talk to you, madam.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. So just trying to figure out what a post-COVID world is going to look like. Are we looking at a world where the human touch is going to be, suspect, like uh, uh, how even the schools, the kids play, they do a lot of roughhousing and they play with each other. So are we looking at a world where we are going to be telling them not to even touch each other? Now that is a very serious thing for humanity as a whole. That's going to impact the coming generations in a very different way. So, but I, like when they said when you started talking about perception, I didn't realize that you will be talking about perception from the institution point of view, because I deal with individuals. So I was basically looking at perception from the individual point of view. Your topic was very new to me. So, so when you said, and if you look at the picture in today's world, we have a 7 billion population. So if everything is going to be automated, what are the people going to do? That looks like we are headed for a big mess.
In a country like 1.3 billion people, where today, if you see in India, it's not that easy. It is only it's only a
hello.
Hello, sorry. So it is something different, because it's all about different learning system. You are going to maybe as a teacher, you are going to have a different perception from tomorrow. How I'm going to teach my students tomorrow.
Okay. I never agreed with this current education model in the first place, so let's not go there.
It's not a question of agreeing. It's a question of demand. See, today, when I know I cannot, I suppose the weight of 10 kgs are there, I can lift only up to 5 kgs. I cannot take 10 kgs at times. I have to look for help, somebody to help me out. Like that, today, as knowledge is drifting from manual to digital. Of course, even we're all one, because as a sales rep, I used to make about 18 calls a day, meeting 18 doctors and surgeons. I also know how it pays. In fact, how I am working a different model for the pharma people without losing manpower.
Okay.
So the model is very simple. Instead of you go individually, you create a hub in each and every hospital. Doctors or a group of doctors come to the room to have a cup of, you create a coffee center. So they come have a sip of coffee. Each individual company makes presentation. So social distancing is my, you can do the video conference, you not even go there. From his office hub, you do conferencing. Any queries, the concerned medical, they can ask.
I think my question was more specific. I think my question was, is this increased automation going to lead to unemployment? I think that was my question.
To some extent.
Okay.
To some extent, not to the greater extent. Because till today, we need ironing person. Because we don't iron our clothes.
Are they looking at automation in agriculture by any chance?
Agriculture automation is very difficult, because there, what you can do, there is the farmer has to go and plow the field. There the automation is how that automation will be done in marketing and logistics, not in the production of the product. The farmer has to get the grain. After getting the grain, your digital marketing will work out to take it and convert that rice into money.
No, actually, I'm talking from knowing a lot of farmers. They have a huge labor problem in India. So that's why I was asking about it.
Exactly. Because even my cousin has got some farms in Uldamagalam. He's not able to, he's not getting any people.
Yeah.
So
But a lot of knowledge of, sorry, I hope I'm not taking up all your time. I'll just finish with this observation. But a lot of knowledge in farming and in areas other than where the corporates act is intuitive, you know. So I don't know if you can actually program a robo to know the good grain from the bad, and it's passed from generation to generation. So I don't know if that's
Probably
actually possible. So,
Hyderabad, ICRISAT is doing the project.
okay.
Hyderabad ICRISAT creating a new grain every year, increasing productivity with less labor. See, tomorrow, I tell you, even if you go abroad, how people do the harvesting, they have machinery. They just go because there it's a vast area. Here people work on cents. I have 3 cents, you have 3 cents, I have 3. But unfortunately, if people, all the farmers come together, make it as a 1 acre, then they can always hire a tractor, hire a plower, all that can be done. Automation can be done, even in farming. So that you can labor. When labor is not available, probably the day is not far off. The only thing it is a mindset, there is a perception. Perception that this cent of land belongs to me only. I only have to plow. I only have to sow. I only have to reap. Got my point?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Then we sow, we reap, we plow. If that concept comes, I and we, I tell everybody will be benefited.
Okay. And also there's another question I came up with. I'm sorry, I'm really taking up too much of your time. But when you talked about perception, I am doing a bit of study in yoga. And in Indian psychology, they talk about perception in terms of the indriyas and the antakarana, the mind as a tool. They define it as an antakarana, okay?
Yeah.
And so there's an intricate knowledge system in India. So I wondered if you were going to touch upon any of that.
You got Aham Brahmam, no? Where this world has come from, Aham Brahmam. God within you.
Okay.
See, what is yoga? Yoga is nothing but, see, your centralized things from head to toe. So there is a concentration of power and embodiment of knowledge which can propagate from head to toe. So your memory improves, your retention level improves, and you keep cleaning your hard disk on regular basis. So new things keep adding up in your hard disk. That is the beauty of yoga.
Okay, so thank you. I'll let somebody else ask you a question now.
I hope I
Thank you for your answer. Yeah.
Yeah, next, can we have Sridevi, madam?
Good evening, sir. That was a wonderful discussion. Each and every word is more powerful. And now I have one small clarification. Perception differs from age factor and gender factor as well, right?
Yes.
Yes. So to evolve as an organization with a common goal, sometimes it is difficult for us, even in terms of environment too. It is very difficult for us to evolve with a common goal, getting tied up with all the, if the age factor is smaller when leading and the group of members or the senior most, it is very difficult to merge, and as you rightly said, adaptability. So how to tackle this? This is not only within the organization, it even happens in our daily life too, right? So can you please explain how to handle
Very
it?
simple. Suppose imagine you have a kid. You keep asking your kid.
Yes.
Just give an example to you. You have a kid in the house about
Sir,
say
I couldn't
5 years.
hear you.
The fires keep nagging you for ice cream.
Sir?
Almost every day. Do you buy him ice cream every day?
No.
Why? Why you don't buy it?
Because we, on considering the health factors, yes, 1 or 2 days is fine on considering the health factors, and whether it is suiting him and it should not be an adamancy factor also. So in considering to certain things, we will take the
Good. So child
we will
stop
decide on
asking
that.
for ice cream, isn't it? The child won't ask you ice cream every day. The moment you tell him it's not good, you're going to catch throat, you're going to have a throat infection,
Yes.
you're going to get a fever. Okay. Then what are you doing? You are creating a sort of fear or health awareness in the child's mind. Am I right?
Yes, to those kind of kids who accept the reality, yes, this is she is saying right for my sake, they will accept. Otherwise, the adamancy prolongs. This is the what to say, both ends.
Because that's why I always say perception is a double-edged sword.
Okay.
See, you should know you can use it for cutting, you can use it for stabbing.
Okay. Okay.
So basically, when you want to be in the race, you enroll yourself in a sort of a race. You have preset qualities in you, isn't it? That is why you are enrolled in the race. Am I right?
Very true. Yes.
So when you have preset mind and preset talents and skills in you, then why do you differentiate with others? You keep running. That's
Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much.
very simple.
I think I got my answer. Yeah, you are asking me to have the goal should be in front of the eyes, no matter what, and you should go ahead. Thank you so much.
Kill.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks for making it very simpler. Thank you. Thanks to the team as well. Thank you.
Thanks a lot to you.
Any more questions? I think Dr. Venkatapati sir is online.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Please, I'm waiting for him.
Just a minute, sir. I'm trying to connect.
Oh, no problem. Take your time.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. When we were struggling, you made things so simple. And this is one area when people talk, especially people like me, if we talk, people become mad. People who listen will become mad. But you made people understand, and it's very good. One of the best things to happen. Maybe one good thing is you have been talking more of normative perception. That is interpretative reality. And the sensory perception is one which is for individuals. And in organizations, we normally do this. You have focused that very well. However, to a certain extent, all these perceptions are tailored sometimes, goaded many times, loaded several times. And when it is being given to people that way, they, without evaluating them, they enter into that, they end up. And if we could be able to make them understand, this is the way that you may have to interpret the interpretative reality, things would be different.
Sure.
And maybe this is a nice thing because youngsters are there, they may pick this up, moving it in a different direction. Maybe a kind of a program for people as how it could work on. In today's context, it is most important people should know about, especially the one that you talked about, that is normative perception.
Yes.
Because every now and then people are loaded with loads of ideas and preferably distorted, likely overemphasized, and purposefully making certain kind of willful explanations.
Sure.
And once they know that it is not, part of the problems are solved. And in organizations, yes, it is. And you also brought in that corona issue. It is going to have a lot of problem in the days to come among people. Not the disease, but the after effect of disease And unless we start working on that, making people to alter their cognition, it is going to be a problem. And altering the cognition is one way of making people to perceive properly or perceive desirably, if not properly. And to make them feel desirably in a way, what they have to do, I think, just like any other strategies being formulated or any other plans for long term, this should also be taken up. And on that context, I think, yes, when I saw the title perception, I was a bit intriguing. Perception, what is perception? But the way you started and the first slide and maybe swallowing the bull, then I thought, okay, maybe yes. But mostly this sensory perception, this is a problem. But later on you shifted on that and some good interaction was there. Nice. In fact, I had some benefit of understanding something and I had the opportunity to see you. Nice talking to you. Maybe if time permits, we will again talk.
Sure,
Nice.
sir. It's my pleasure, sir. So nice talking. Thank you for the blessings.
Yes, sir. Next, I think Dr. Rupa Gunaselan Madam has joined.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening. And I'm sorry I joined little late. I missed part of your presentation.
Nothing is late in the world.
And the questions made me to develop some interest and curiosity. You know, I understood that there were a lot of inputs you would have given.
What I learned in my 30 years of selling and marketing, interacting with human, basically.
Yes, sir.
I was living with life.
Okay. So mine is a generic observation, which you can add some value by adding some points. There is a drastic shift in mindset of people from previous decade to this decade. Moved into a lot of materialistic kind of decisive mindset. No, and what kind of impact this has created on the human value system and also the perception practices of people towards their organization and the society.
Very good. Can I answer you?
Yeah, sir.
Very simple. See, first let me go on the personal life. How this corona helped us. Some years back, we go back before corona and after corona. Before corona, have you ever seen any male member getting into the kitchen, helping his wife?
No,
ever cutting a vegetable or cajoling a kid or changing the diapers? No. Why it's happening? You think it's a good change, isn't it?
Yeah, yes.
See, that you are creating a bondage. The bondage starts here, the same because you never had this habit before. Because you have your dad always sits at the back of the chair, hey, get me coffee, hey, get me tea. The mommy comes running and gives her tea, she massages and goes away. That has gone to child's mind. No, today's children are watching all this today. The children of tomorrow are going to be the most passionate, empathetic children of the world.
Wow, that will be nice. I wish.
You know, sure, because the child imbibes, his child does not know anything. Child only learns to copy.
From us.
Child only learns to copy. If you ask a daughter how you want a husband, my husband must be like my father. You ask your son how, no, I want my wife to be like my mother. Why? Because this is the inherent behavior of an individual. The perceptual ideas which has gone for generations. But today that perception is changing. That I have to do something. Why? Because my wife is alone. Even though she does not allow you to do most of the time, but still you force yourself to do something. That is how the same thing happens in organization. Today, when there's a group activity that takes place in distant functioning, like working from home. These days, nobody don't know what Mr. X, Y, Z are performing because you're not in the same cabin. But when you go and attend a meeting, video conferencing, that time boss has the views of X, Y, and Z. And you are surprised to note the views are common. Because our perception remains the same because I want to deliver the best of my ability. Because I have the time today and I have my water cooling with my children. And this is how it happens. That's how, it's one way it is a blessing in disguise. Really a blessing in disguise. We have become good citizens of the country. Now everybody feels it's our country. It never happened before. Everybody feels my neighbor is very important. If somebody comes and says, hey, Bulla Pada. Why do you say that? All this we never bothered. See, this is how once environmental behavior get conceptualized and get perceived in your mind.
So you needed a corona to do that.
Today, I tell you, when tsunami came, what happened?
Yes, crisis.
The flood came, what happened? Every fellow did everything. The inspector, rich or poor, everybody gave whatever they had.
Yes.
See?
So the humanity emerges.
This is only a symbolic embodiment of the life is more than livelihood.
Yes.
Got the point? Today, we have proved to the world the life is beyond livelihood. That's why we are able to stay about 35 days away from our workplace.
Yes.
And people are willing to starve. People are willing to starve. People are willing to forego their all their pleasures. Why? Because life is important than livelihood.
True, sir.
The perception changes automatically. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, yes, sir. Very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And next, can we have Gilbert, sir?
Kanagraj, thank you. Mr. Babu, thank you for taking your time today and
you're welcome. Yeah, you're
sharing your.
I'm looking younger.
So let me make a statement, then which will lead to the follow-up question.
Yes.
So the statement is the higher the education is, the stronger the perception people carry. Okay, if somebody is educated more, they carry much stronger perception than a lesser educated one. So this we will take it as an assumption. Okay, can be debated, but let's take it as an assumption.
Yeah.
And doctors are easily one of the most educated in the society. Normally, we find doctors are most educated.
Yes.
Okay, and therefore they carry very strong perceptions on what's right, what's wrong, and what works, what doesn't work. Okay, and you have spent several decades in selling to doctors.
Yes.
And many occasions you might have sold things which they would have thought was not needed, but was not the right equipment to solve a problem. So from that experience of selling to doctors with strong perception over a number of years, can you share, let's say, 2 or 3 very practical tips for somebody who have to, one, communicate to people with strong perception, sell a product which is not needed by somebody who has a very strong perception?
Exactly. I just tell you, when you're selling this harmonic scalpel equipment, which is meant for bloodless surgery, I'll give live example. I was working with Dr. Ravindranath, who is now the director of the Global Hospital, chairman of the Global Hospital. He was working in Apollo Hospital that time. Okay? He was doing a surgery. When they're doing a hiatus hernia surgery, you want to mobilize the greater curvature to get the vagus bone out and also take up the left gastric vessels. You looked at me, said, Babu, I've been doing surgery for so long years. Do you think I need harmonic to do this procedure? He asked me. So I leave it to you. As you were trying to mobilize the vessel, he was very uncomfortable. Then I told him, sir, can you give me a minute? Yes, Babu, what do you want? Already I have put a probe on the table. Kindly take it. And I was navigating the procedure. Moment he finished the procedure, he came out and he said, "So Babu, now I know a right tool makes the life very, very different." And immediately placed order for the equipment. His perception before was his talent was dominating him. Moment he had difficulty, his perception changed. You got my point?
Sure, go on, sir. Go on. Yeah.
Number one, I do another example. I was working in Pakistan, in Karachi Hospital. There, the chief surgeon was operating on the Prime Minister's brother's grandson. He had a neuroblastoma of the abdominal aorta. Okay? He said, Babu, I have cored out the vessels all around. No, I have to resect out near the aorta. How do I do? Then I took out my instrument. I was demonstrating it. There's an active probe and a silent probe, where you can always take the silent probe and lift it up and then navigate, pedal it, you get divided. And he believed in me and did the procedure. And he completed the procedure and he saved the child. And he came out and said, Babu, this is something miracle which I never seen in medical history. Number two. Number three, in Trivandrum Hospital, there was a girl of 13 years. She had a huge tumor in the stomach. People mistook it as a tumor. And everybody was scared to operate on that person. And I don't remember the surgeon's name. I was in the theater, I was carrying my equipment. And there it's highly vascular area where he was feeling difficult to mobilize the stomach. I gave an idea how we can go about, mobilize and then resect the stomach. To resect the stomach, you pulled out like a cricket ball, hair. It was like a ball inside the stomach, which people mistook it as a tumor. Because the girl, right from the age of 2-3 years, this girl used to pull out the hair and keep sucking. The hair went inside one by one. It started curling and curling and curling, became a big like ball, and the stomach started moving to one side. People mistook it as a tumor. So that's the reason I tell you, most of my experience is that I tell my experience in Malaysia when I was working in what the place.
Sir, if I can, little bit, point you to a more precise direction.
Tell me.
What? Yeah. So one is, we are not able to get an appointment. The situation is, the doctor or your potential customer is saying, I don't need what you're selling. He doesn't even give you an appointment.
Yes, that is his point.
Yeah, and the refined question from that is, we are unable to communicate with somebody who has a very strong perception. So how do you break the ice? What's the icebreaker? What are, let's say, the first 1, 2, 3 steps that you may recommend as a experienced leader and a manager?
Basically, you have to break his perception, number one. That is, his confidence in the surgery and his ego is so high that I can manage without you. Okay? It happened to me in Malaysia, in one of the hospitals. A famous surgeon who is a cancer surgeon using mastectomy. We were doing mastectomy. He was taking a skin flap. As he was taking his skin flap, when he came to the pectoris major, he had some problem. And I was taking, no, Babu, with my skin, I take the most thinnest skin flap. Then I kept quiet. Then I told the sister, keep the machine ready with you. As the machine was ready, as I was going to the superior level, he was not able to suck the skin properly. And I made him, I forced him to use it. Somehow he said, since Babu has come from India, I can't, I don't want to disappoint Babu. So he did it. The moment he did it, I stopped the procedure in the middle. See, that is where I changed the perception of surgeon's mind. I did not allow him to continue the procedure. I stopped him, asked him to put a light under the skin and show how thin he has taken the skin flap. The moment he put the light and he saw the skin flap, in cancer surgery, the clear margin is more important. How much clear margin you take, that gives the lifeline improvement in the cancer patients. He did that, and when I was coming to the pectoral major, that's why you see that is the knowledge is very, very important. Knowledge is very, very important. See, that's the reason when he was doing pectoral major, I was just trying to tap his leg. Hey, what happened, sir? You're going with the pectoral major vessel. I don't want to go on the cutting metal, go on the coagulation mode. Immediately he changed the cutting mode to coagulation mode. He isolated the vessels, then went down dissecting out. After surgery, he came out and said, Mr. Babu, I don't know what you studied and all that. It's not Dr. Kim, it's Dr. Babu who has operated today. You saw how the perception changed? See, such difficult customers have to believe that you are going to change this perception. First of all, you should have the confidence in you as a salesperson that I am equipped to do that. Unless until you have the confidence in you. That's why I always tell my colleagues who work under me also, I never allow them to go for surgery before doing a rehearsal with me on the table. Because you are playing with the life of a patient. Even when I was working with like Professor Rangabashyam, you must be knowing Dr. Professor Rangabashyam, who is no more now. Have heard of him? He is the surgeon to the president of the country. So I was the only rep who could go and assist him in the surgery. Why I'm telling you, you have to believe in yourself first. That's how the perception changes. What is perception? Perception is a strong belief in you. What is perception? Personalized, personified beliefs in 3D figure. This can happen. This only can happen. Got my point? What this only can happen should be translated in the proper manner. Then the success comes.
Sure, sir. Appreciate your answer, sir.
That's why I always tell people, you never go with the intention of selling a product. In fact, whenever I go to a customer, I tell them, doctor, you want a product, you go and buy in the market. You want to buy comfort, come to me. I have the audacity to talk to my surgeon. Even Dr. Pallivelu, who is in Coimbatore. You won't ask Pallivelu whether he knows Narayana Babu. Ask any top surgeon in India, including Dr. Pradeep Chobe in Delhi.
Thank you, sir. So next time I need an appointment with somebody, I'll bother you with an appointment.
No problem, no problem.
Thank you.
I love challenges.
Thank you.
Before that, I just tell you one small example. How you make a difficult customer an easy customer. My life example. When I was working in Apollo Hospital, Dr. P.K. Reddy was there. I was going there every day, almost 6-7 times. He never gave me any interview at all. He said, he just comes out, I'm busy, you come tomorrow. I know, mother. I went on and on. At the 7th or 8th call, he saw me and he saw this guy want to say something. He called me inside. Moment he called me inside, moment he knew who I am, then his perception about the salesman changed totally. And I became his best friend. And we've worked almost together more than 7-8 years. Even today, he sees me in the airport, he always says, Babu, how are you? Thank you, dear.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Great, sir. We have Pat Krishnan, sir, on.
Yeah, please.
Hey, this is Pat here. Fantastic experiences. I just have a question.
I love living, you know. I love living.
1 second, hold on, sir. Let me just turn on my video.
No problem.
So,
Where's the black?
I think my video is.
I can see you.
I mean, you talked about perception, which is personalized, personified, something in your head that you think that's what it is, right? So, I mean, is there a thin line between intuition and perception here? Are we treading on the same line? How do you are a wrong intuition that you think is turns into a perception? I mean, I do not. I'm just trying to ask that question to you.
Yeah, you're right. Intuition can be right and can be wrong also.
Mm-hmm.
If it's with your context, it is matching with your context, it is right. So sometimes you look for some information. That information is related to whatever information you had, like how this is going to happen or this can happen. Got my point?
Mm-hmm.
When this can happen, it's a future perception. That is, I feel that this can also happen. I don't say this can. This also can happen. That becomes intuition. This happens is perception.
So, which means intuition is much more forgiving in terms of accepting even things that you think may not happen. Also, okay, got it.
Nothing wrong. Every idea is good. Every idea is good. See, your mind is thinking on the subject. See, we are not thinking something not unrelated things. Okay, it may work. The solution may not work. Maybe you have to put the question, change it. Then you come closer to the perception of your perception.
Fantastic. Sir, I have one more question. See, this is because you are a pharma person, and actually I'm a techie guy getting into pharma right now at this age. Okay,
right,
so I don't know whether it's good or bad.
You're a tricky guy now.
But then it's so humbling. The whole industry is so humbling, and the kind of things that pharma does in your body is something which is phenomenal, you know. But I have this perception. I do not know whether it is right or wrong. I've always after 1 year of me getting into this pharma and trying to explore what this means, because it's a new subject for me, right? Completely. Yes. Yeah. I find that today's pharma is only answering the what of it, not the why of it. I don't know whether it's a right one or a wrong one. I have this perception. I don't know whether it's a perception or whether it's right or wrong. I do not know. I always look at it and say, the pharma has not answered the why of it, because if there is a problem, they say autoimmune, and they basically try to provide a solution for autoimmune. They know that monomethyl fumarate is needed for multiple sclerosis in the myelin sheath. That's it. And we'll supply the monomethyl fumarate. But they're not able to answer as to why that monomethyl fumarate got depleted in that person's body, which is causing that multiple sclerosis to happen. So it's same true with Parkinson's disease or Alzheimer's or whatnot. So what is your take on that? So
you want me to say something? You're right.
Am I right in my thought process?
Right, because here, why? Because why want? What and why you are asking? Okay?
Exactly.
Why has already been worked, that's why what has come. People have already worked on why. For this disease, this medicine is given. Am I right?
Yes or no?
I tell you, I get fever. So people have worked how paracetamol works on a fever. Am I right? One that is there, the surgeon's mind, what he will do, will he explore why the fever is coming? He will take the pad and he'll write paracetamol. What is required? Has it answered your question? Somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, somewhat.
Somewhat.
It is.
You're talking about malignancy. Malignancy is totally different subject.
Okay.
Malignancy is a different subject. There people don't work on why. People only have to work on because most of the malignants are palliative.
Are
palliative.
Palliative.
Okay. So you like to give a comfort to the malignant person. You cannot cure. You only giving him palliative treatment so that he is able to swallow. He is able to eat his food. He is at least for small life. He is living without any ascites and all those problems.
Thank you, sir. Very nice.
Yes, sir. Is there any more question?
Kamiraj, I have one question. Probably I want an experience. This is Shankanaran again, sir. From what Gilbert asked, he was asking you, how did you break the perception of the doctors or whoever you met? I want to ask you, how did you change your perception on a person whom you met? Like you would have had a different one, and completely after a point you would have changed, and it would have been maybe your team member or your any customer or wherever it is. You would have thought this fellow will never buy, but they would have given you a heavenly order. So something like that. Can you share some experience on that?
That is where your integrity selling helps you. Integrity selling formula is all about finding the personal traits of a customer. First of all, you should understand your personal trait. Talker, doer, supporter, and controller. If you are a talker as a customer, even though I am a doer, I can't behave like a doer. I can push my product to you. You throw me out because you want to listen more about the product. You got my point? So I changed my personal trait from a doer to a talker. So I give you more information about the product, what this product can do, how it can change the life of you, how to change the lives of the patient. That's my point. I should try only when your same traits are meeting, then only you create value. Otherwise, you become cautious. You see that this fellow has come to grab my purse. Someone care? Never see his purse, see his heart.
I wanted to know your experience on you changing your perception on somebody.
I've changed many times. I tell you one small example. When I was working as first representative for about 3 months, new life for me. I don't know what is the guy, born, brought up in Madras, working in a Guntur. There, one Dr. Basopanaya was there. He's a very egoistic fellow. Whenever he calls representative, what he does, he lights his 555 cigarette, he'll turn his face. He'll go on smoking. Tuck, tuck, tuck. You can go. So all the representatives will give the sample bottles, all the literature, and go away. I entered inside. When I entered inside, he lighted a cigarette. I opened my bag. The moment he lighted the cigarette, I closed the bag. And I was just watching him. He said, come on, talk. No, sir, that cigarette is very expensive. 555, those just 35 rupees one cigarette. Sir, that is 35 rupees one cigarette, sir. It's a foreign cigarette. So I don't want to spoil your happiness. So you finish the cigarette, sir. I will wait. Imagine, he got shocked. Immediately he snuffed the cigarette. Babu, talk to me. Then I put out my literature talking to him. Then after literature, then what our doctors did, they pushed literature in the dustbin. Most of the doctors. When I gave my literature, I asked him, sir, this has a material, this has my number, this is my distributor number, these are the products available at the shelf, this has got all the information for you to perform your duty. You like to keep it or you want to give it back to me? If you're going to put it there, let it be with me so I can give it to some other customer. That is costing me 5 rupees 50 paisa. The moment I told him that, well, I took it and put it under the glass. Then from that day, whenever I enter, he tells the sister, when Babu comes, don't stop him, ask him to come inside direct.
Nice.
Create value. First of all, you should have your value first. Your self-esteem, your self-respect. Many people today, ordinary salesperson, forget the self-esteem. Like that, I can tell you one of my team members, The commitment of my team, one example I tell you. If you have time, I can tell you.
Yeah, please.
One of my friend, he's now is a big guy in Hyderabad. He's running a lot of lands, he's running things and all that. That guy was working with me. He's an MBA graduate. He was working with doctor in Europe. We were running temperature. We were doing demonstration. He called me that night, said, sir, I'm not well. What do you do? I said, come back. No problem. I'll send my assistant. No, sir, I'll finish the deal and come. As he was in the theater, he's soon in the theater. The doctor got a shock. He's a famous gynecologist in Europe. She immediately picked him up and said, they put him in the room and all that. Why, Patel, you should do all? No, sir, no, madam. I have come to do my work. I have to do my work. Because my boss will get upset. This is what commitment is all about. Number one. Number two, family commitment. I want to tell you an example. One of my guy, Manish Panchal, you must have heard of that name, Manish Panchal. He comes in LinkedIn and all that. Even today, he calls me mentor. That guy, first delivery, is getting twins. His wife was carrying. Delhi is supposed to take place. I sent him to that place, Gujarat, some place. When he went there, Kolhapur. Went to Kolhapur, he was doing a demonstration. Sir, my wife is getting ill. It's no problem. I will take care of your friend. Immediately, I talked to his wife and the wife's mother. Tell them any help you want. This is my number. You call me, I am there at any moment. My people are there, my doctors are there. She was so happy. Immediately, he called his wife. Do you want me to come? He said, don't come here. First finish the sale and come. Then I'll show you my child. Wife told him.
That's nice.
Like that, I tell you one of the live example of a salesman becoming a patient. That guy is in Denmark. He's doing a very big job. He's the CEO of a big company today. That guy was up in Madhya Pradesh. There he was undergoing a appendectomy operation. He was on the table. Doctor was supposed to operate on him. This fellow, if we take anesthesia, this fellow assembled the equipment and demonstrated how to use it. Then he took the anesthesia and went on the bed. This is how I train my people. This is how I train my people. You give your life. First, you demonstrate. You demonstrate you are giving life. There are days I sit on my dining table, my wife serves the food, I get a call from Apollo. I just washed my hand, rushed out to the hospital.
Nice.
So I don't say I'm great. I'm saying about a salesperson traits, behavior.
Nice.
You have to be true to yourself. First of all, you be true to yourself. Sales will follow.
Thank you, sir. So we have Abdul Nasser wanting to add upon Jayalakshmi's question. After that, we will have the next.
No problem. No.
Now, Abdul Nasser, you can switch on your video and audio.
Okay, I'm still having problem with the video.
No problem.
No problem. I can hear you.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for that. So basically, I was just trying to add from what I've been told by Mr. Babu. So in an international perspective, what the first question from one of the teachers that they were talking about, like one of the things is that what will happen to the future, right? So machine language, artificial intelligence. So my background right now from Singapore is that I work in IT. I have got 25 years of experience working for multinational. So we do day in and out. What we are trying to do is automation. The automation is in many ways in terms of standardization and moving where the company wants to move in, right? So that's the whole point. What we need to think about is that companies are dependent on how you can transform your organization to the next level, right? And everybody follows it, right? So everybody knows that there is no difference, right? So from here, Singapore, we think that so we are more in terms of technology, there is a wow nation. There is many aspects to it, right? But every culture has got a problem, right? Singapore has got a problem, first of all, right? It's a very tiny space, and, in terms of people who are sitting together, they never seen that, everybody can sit in the same home and do working, right? Very difficult, very difficult. Not in Indian homes. There is a different challenge, first of all.
Yeah.
And
Unless
they don't cook every day. They don't cook every day, by the way.
Okay.
Right? Every day they are trying to make it the food from outside, and it's all closed.
Yes.
There is a whole lot of differences there, So I want to tell that, what will bring that artificial intelligence and, stuff. We are working day and night on the same thing, trying to help organizations to do that. What I would tell you is that, whatever can be automized, whatever can be done without a human help will be automized. In not now, in future, in 10 years, 15 years, it will be done. What will need? There is a logical explanation towards that, somebody has to logically take a decision, which machine language cannot do it, artificial intelligence cannot do it. That is where people will do that. And some of the examples what have given by the things is what we are trying to do is that, human to human relationship is very important, that, you would be able to try and understand people when you meet them in person, right? That is the only job will be available, for sure. If you can convince somebody, like, what sir was telling, that, you can go and convince a doctor and tell him, and he can listen to you. It is the education what is required. And you have done it in the past already, that, so many times. But that is the only nature of language of sales is going to happen. But behind the scenes, we need to think about, from an education standpoint, that, what are the things which is very, very, really important. First is science. First is knowledge. Second is probably knowledge, right? First is science. You need to know what everything works, right? So overall, that's very important. Second is that knowledge, you can have the skill sets in the domain. The domain is so important that, there is a couple of questions what is come in is that, the domain knowledge, what nobody else knows. That, that is where we have a problem, right? So
that's
IT
it's called domain.
Part of,
that's why it's called domain.
Yeah. So the domain knowledge is that, people have to collaborate. People have to understand. People have to learn and educate themselves throughout their, career. That, IT is part of an umbrella where you come in, but, everybody needs to know that, where it can help or not, right? So part of it is that, the education and knowledge is that to understand how you are actually going to contribute to the whole thing, right? If you can't contribute, you're not going to have a job. That's true, right? And the second, that lady, which is the doctor, was asking, like, how can I do this beyond COVID, right? So things can happen in a way that, it is not going to be determined by people. It is determined by the force of how the things are going to move forward, right? It's a business perspective.
Demand. It's environmental demand.
Yeah. So it's a business perspective of environmental changes, what is doing. So that becomes that, are you prepared? The whole thing is, are you prepared?
Yes, you be prepared.
Yeah. Can we be prepared? Yes,
Yes.
we can be prepared. But how will we part this knowledge towards that, the people who are just youngsters, right? And everybody has got a concern right now, and I can tell you that, TCS is planning by 2025 to have 75% of the remote employees working from home, which actually tells that, 50, currently it's 25%. In 5 years' time, 50% of the people, because one thing you understand, they don't have to pay for the electricity, home, everything, they have to understand that the perspective, right? And what they can get is more people working for more hours. Is very important, right? So what will happen is that there is no going. So one of the things I want to emphasize is that India has been a nation, been termed, forget about China. China is good at manufacturing and hardware. The part knowledge of how we do in the back end, and you can go back and search for Google and IBM, why they move their data centers and move the core people to India, you can understand. There is a skills and knowledge where is needed. So the thing is that we have to turn around the education to move towards where the skill sets are required. And it's completely changed from last 5 years. And I can tell you that, cloud knowledge, what is cloud? People say, oh, cloud, can I look at it up the cloud? No, right? So there is a lot of things which are... yeah. So going on economic side, there is so we need to do that. So it would be a follow-up session if people have a lot of anxiety, questions, where they wanted to look at their children to be on the career. They have to focus on basic things like mathematics, physics, and where they wanted to go in. That is the core education. They want to, if they want to excel in something, they have to do it. That's what I want to tell. And from an international perspective, I would say that people are looking for a demand where their skill sets are available, not like physical people who can do jobs, right? So thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, dear. Thank you very much. You well said it. Yes, Muthu. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Any more questions? How is the session going, Muthu?
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. So, Kanagaraj, any more question or Mani?
No, I think we run out. I think everybody asked their questions. Yeah.
I'm very happy that it went on very well. I'm very happy about people participating, and then it's all about life and livelihood.
Yeah. So we thank you very much for your time, sir, in the evening to spend this.
Anytime.
Yeah. It was very.
I'm opening my brain.
Yeah. So we learned a lot of things from your interaction, especially with your experience with customers. It was really wonderful. Thanks a lot. And I invite Mr. Shankar to share a few words, and then probably then we can close.
Give a candid feedback also. I'll be very happy. Yeah. Send a mail on that.
Definitely. Shankar? I think unable to reach.
We can probably have Mani summing it up, Muthu.
Okay, Mani, yeah.
Mani is waiting to sum up.
Yeah, sure.
Probably you can take inputs from Shankar later.
Yeah,
he is
sure.
busy elsewhere.
Okay, Mani, you can go ahead.
Thanks, Muthu. Mr. Babu, thank you. Thank you for taking time off and sharing your experiences with J&J. It is fascinating to know that somebody who does not have a medical background, but as Muthu said, you come with quite a lot of learning that you've had at J&J. It is it is nice of you to share your experiences. There were a few technical terms which came in. Muthu did caution us about that, but I think be it the interventions from Pat, I think he's convinced that he's in the right business to be in at this stage of his life. So the positive take for the day, I think, is more for Pat than for all of us. We've had a lively interaction, and I think Pat owes most of his or would owe most of his success to what exactly was done as a reiteration by you. Otherwise, the kind of exposure that you took us through in the last 90 to 100 minutes has been fantastic stuff. Thanks a lot for taking your time off and being with us on this evening. Thank you.
I hope I contributed something.
Yeah, I also should say thanks to the team.
If I can get feedback, I'll be very happy so I can work on that.
So we'll do that.
A lot of learning modules.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. God bless you.
Thank
Be
you.
safe, be happy. Tell all our friends. Take care of the family. Be safe.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
of you safe
Thank
and
you.
be
It was
happy.
very nice.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.